Ladies and gentlemen, we are live following TNA Hard to Kill. It's your boy Ango, and today I'm joined by Billy TKO. Wow, Billy,
What a show.
Billy,
Yes, sir.
we had a TNA pay-per-view in 2024. Not Impact Wrestling. We had
No.
TNA.
Yes.
And so, guys, what I really love about this is that we're going to talk about this show. But I'm talking with somebody today. You may have seen him on my channel a little bit more recently, but Billy here is somebody that hasn't always been a TNA fan growing up. He never really watched TNA growing up.
No, I knew about it.
Of
And
course.
yeah, and I knew some of the wrestlers and stuff like that, but I was never, a consistent watcher.
And that's why I want to have this conversation with you. Guys, there is so much to uncover. There is so much to discuss. If you want to support the channel, make sure you drop a super chat or consider donating on the website. This is exciting because not only are we doing a live review of Hard to Kill 2024, but I will be live following TNA on Thursdays. And that is really exciting because I thought tonight did a very good job of setting the tone for this new era. We're going to
Absolutely.
talk about it. There's a lot to discuss. But, ladies and gentlemen, we got to kick things off right off the rip. Billy TKO, Dolph Ziggler debuted at TNA Hard to Kill. And I just need to get your initial reaction.
Oh, what a guy. Nick Nemeth. What a guy, right? It felt big. If you did anything for me, you made it feel big. I can appreciate that. A lot of people speculated on how big is it really going to be, blah, blah, blah. Obviously, we see Nick Nemeth over in New Japan Pro Wrestling and doing stuff over there. But man, oh man, the rip of the T-shirt at the end, dropping into the TNA shirt. If you do find, maybe go on Twitter or something and you find the image that he signed with TNA,
Yeah.
that I want to see that. I do.
Yeah. This, it's phenomenal to watch this show.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of chit chatter of what can happen. And there's a lot of ifs, ands, buts with every conversation that I've had today. But the one thing I found so incredibly fascinating was, TNA in the past, and I've said this in the past, but Impact Wrestling, TNA in the past would have big main events.
Yeah.
And there would always be something that I like to call TNA fuckery, which is there's always something that goes down that fucking ruins it. And, I was one of those people, like, I believe it was a better idea to have Moose win. Moose beats Alex Shelley. It sets the tone for the future of TNA. This guy is committed to TNA. And then you get this incredible moment after he pins Alex Shelley, the system, the new faction. Well, it's
Yep.
not a new faction. I mean, they've been a faction, but now they finally have a brand and everything. You see the system on the stage, and Nick Nemeth pops up on the Tron, and you're waiting for him.
Yeah.
And I found this to be an incredible moment because the problem with Moose winning is he's a heel. And so it's a great moment, but it's not a feel-good moment for this crowd going into a new era. So when Nick Nemeth's music hits and he comes from behind,
Yeah. Uh-huh.
guys, I'm going to tell you like it is. I'm going to be super honest here. That debut was executed flawlessly.
Absolutely.
Flawlessly. I genuinely liked it. And Billy, what did I tell you on our prediction show? I said, whoever wins,
Yeah.
you got to do the signing after. And that's
right.
Listen, it could have been Elijah. It could have been Mustafa Ali.
Yep.
It could have been 100 different people. But Nick Nemeth really appeared as a big deal. And I think the greatest part about this, man, this is a new TNA, newer production, better design, better everything. The crowd, and I want to talk about that crowd tonight, but the crowd, the shot of Nick Nemeth and the crowd on their feet going crazy.
Yeah.
That is a moment that I think I can watch back a lot and just be very happy with that.
Can I be honest and tell you what it reminded me of? It reminded me a lot of, like, do you remember Tommy Dreamer and ECW?
Yes.
And standing with the crowd, ECW. That's what that reminded me of, which was obviously in ECW was such a huge moment.
It was really cool because when he goes in the crowd too, and he rips off his shirt and it's the TNA logo, it just felt nostalgic, yet not so nostalgic at the same time. Guys, I cannot begin to tell you. Like, I really have a hard time coming up with the words to tell you about how happy this makes me feel because, I watched the show from top to bottom, and we're going to talk about a lot of things on the show,
Yeah.
and I'll give you guys my overall opinions on it. But when I see Dolph Ziggler make his debut, this didn't seem like Dolph Ziggler making his debut in Impact Wrestling, a small company. The presentation here really did look big. And I know there's wrestling fans who want to see Nick Nemeth in AEW. I get it. But this guy is too good of a talent
It kind of
to
it kind
to
of puts him on like this really high trajectory, right?
yes. And you know what it is too, Billy?
Yeah.
And this might offend some of you who are the AEW tribalists, but let me put this out there. Nick Nemeth goes to AEW. He's the new shiny toy for a week or two. Then he does random matches on Rampage or Collision that nobody's watching. He comes to TNA. He comes into a spot where in this company, they don't have a top guy. They have top talent, but they don't have the top guy. And Dolph Ziggler just came across as the guy that's going to do it. And at a time where there was just a lot of questions as to like who it could be. I wasn't sure how I would feel about Dolph Ziggler showing up in TNA, honestly. Not that I would have a problem with it,
Right,
but
but
there was just so many options and there's so many ways to get it wrong. And usually reveals of any kind will always be argued on the internet. This is one that really seems like, fuck, everybody's on board. Like, I don't see one negative thing from anybody here. So I personally thought that was dope and definitely excited, man. I really, really appreciated the fact that TNA ended this in a big bang. Like, I don't know
yeah,
how else to get excited for TV now. Like, like obviously I was excited for TNA guys, but this is one of those moments where I was like, it's the moment.
right.
They created the moment. And it
Moment.
feels like for a
Yeah.
while they were just creating good storylines and good television,
Now
but they
they
weren't
created
creating
a
those.
moment.
They created a moment. Um, wow.
Yeah, man. Beautiful, beautiful stuff. Jason Martinez actually put it in the comment section. It was a comment that I actually liked. It said simplistic and classy.
Yes.
I like that. I like that a
Really,
lot. I
really
think that
felt like a
fits the
big deal.
mold of it did. It was simple, it was sweet. Didn't need to be too much, didn't need to be too little. Count me in as a new viewer for TNA. You did your job.
Yeah. And it was funny because when we did our prediction show, I don't know if you guys watched it, but Billy, we were talking. I was like, man, like I could see them. I hope they don't, but I can see them doing option C with Chris Sabin turning on
Yeah.
Alex Shelley.
Yep.
And to me, that kind of feels a little bit like, would it be a good storyline? Yeah. Going into a new era where you got new eyes on your product, is that a good idea? And I felt like, no, Motor City Machine Guns should stay together. So, as you can imagine, I was ecstatic. I was truly ecstatic to see they didn't do that. And I was super ecstatic when I said, I was like, man, I have a feeling they're going to end the show with a big bang face reveal. It's a baby face thing.
Yeah.
And it's come to fruition, man. And just a very,
Look at Dolph, man, getting the shine he deserves. That's what
really,
he deserves.
and the thing is, it's not that I never believed Dolph Ziggler was overlooked in WWE. At one point, they put the world title on him. You know what I mean?
No, no, and I don't think that's the case here. I think it's more of for a long time he was kind of I don't want to use the word dismissed because
Yeah,
obviously he was a much appreciated talent and I think he always has been.
yeah,
But I think he was kind of passed on, you know what I mean? Like new talent was coming in, stuff like that.
yep,
And they moved on from him. That's just the truth behind it. I can imagine backstage he was obviously probably very loved. You know what I
yeah.
mean?
Well, I think too another thing that we got to consider. We often talk about bloated rosters, right?
Yeah.
And WWE and AEW both have over 200 people signed. TNA doesn't have that issue. So what's really cool about Nick Nemeth going to TNA opposed to being in WWE or AEW is you really can't get lost in the shuffle here. You don't see that issue exist in TNA. And I know if people don't watch TNA or Impact, like you don't know this, but it's very rare that talent in this company get lost in the shuffle. And listen, I don't care what podcaster, what wrestling insider, journalist, tribal account content creators are out there. If you don't watch TNA, these are things that you won't understand about TNA, but this is where they deserve their praise. There's a lot of things I've criticized about Impact, but the things that I've criticized about Impact have nothing to do with their actual physical TV show that they produce and write. So the cool thing is I feel a lot more confident in Nick Nemeth coming in and saying, yeah, you know what? That was the moment that felt like, I know why it doesn't work in WWE because they have so many things going on, but this is why it's the perfect home for Nick Nemeth in
Right.
2024.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
I don't want to spend too much time talking about this, but we saw him in New Japan.
We did.
And who has a relationship with New Japan? Impact. So
Yep.
the really cool thing here is if Dolph Ziggler wants to do the G1 climax later this year,
He can.
he can. If he wants to go to any New Japan event, he
Or
can.
if he wants to wrestle Okada or
You
something along
know,
those. I'm just saying. I'm just talking here.
you literally never know, and that's kind of the beauty of this. But guys, you want to hear something funny? Dolph Ziggler wasn't the only debut tonight. Credit to TNA.
Mhm.
I'm going to give him credit. Honest to God, Billy, I'm going to tell you why, because you don't
Yeah.
watch TNA that often. You weren't watching it religiously.
No.
TNA doesn't typically do the coming out of the limo, teasing something, whatever, right?
Yeah, that was cool.
They did it tonight. So earlier in the show, they have a video on screen where George Iceman opens the door from the limo, and it's a female who is walking out with high heels, and you can't see her face. And this is what everybody's speculating. Everybody's speculating it's Mercedes. Everybody's speculating that maybe it's Lacey Evans or Eva Marie or something like that, but they
Yeah.
don't show who it is. And commentary hypes it up, but they don't reveal that it's the big signing. But obviously, TNA doesn't do this often. So when you don't see TNA do this and they do this, you're thinking, holy shit, this is the big reveal. But it felt really weird for them to do that, considering the fact that it's Dana Brooke. You know what I mean? Like
Right.
if and let me be pretty clear, and Billy, I want your reaction to this. But
Yeah.
when you're teasing a big signing, again, it's very easy to be underwhelmed.
Mhm.
But I think they need credit here because they have the women's championship match. George Iceman walks ringside with Dana Brooke, who is revealed to be Ash by Elegance,
Yep.
which I see a lot of people are saying that there's some similarities to Tony Storm there. And Billy, again, I want your reaction to this.
Mhm.
But she's ringside and she's watching the women's championship match, and commentary hypes it up. They acknowledge the fact that she used to be in WWE as Dana Brooke.
Yeah.
But she's there. The crowd actually enjoys it. She got a good reaction, but we later found out that she wasn't the big signing. And I just want to get your reaction to this. Dana Brooks and TNA. I see some people are being negative about it. I see a lot of people also being positive about it.
Yeah, and
What are your thoughts?
I think that's the number one thing is to be more positive about this, right? Number one, I don't think TNA is bloating their roster here. I think they're adding important pieces, if that makes sense. These can be important pieces to what they are doing. And I'm very, very excited. I was actually really excited to see her in TNA. I think she fits well there, dude. I smiled a little bit. I was like, you know what? She's a person who in the WWE I didn't believe got the recognition maybe she deserved. You know what I mean? Didn't really go win a big title or anything like that. And I think here, putting her up in front of the Knockouts World Championship match, and then obviously in front of Trinity or Naomi, whatever you prefer to call her, and Jordan Grace, I think that made her feel kind of instantly important. So, props to TNA. They're doing what they're supposed to do. I want to say this, and I
Yeah.
really want to mention this and put this out there into the world. TNA did a great job. I paid $40 for this pay-per-view, and I appreciated the $40 that I spent. I didn't feel underwhelmed by anything. And you want to know why? Because I didn't go in with high expectations.
Yeah.
So when you don't go into something like that and you get rewarded with something, it's the best feeling in the world. That was a good $40 well spent. And I really want to make that clear. Now, what were your thoughts with
Yeah.
Dana Brooke?
Yeah. So let me just preface this by saying the most important part that nobody's talking about. Because wrestling fans, we know that they're not always willing to give things a chance. But I think the most important thing people need to realize here, look at Christian Cage debut in AEW and the amount of negativity that came from that on social media. Another former WWE guy, another old wrestler. This is not who we wanted, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then you give it some time and you actually see Christian Cage was a freaking hell of a signing.
Yeah.
So I have to mention that with Dana Brooke. I'm not saying Dana Brooke is here to move numbers and move mountains, but what I'm saying is if you watch TNA tonight, and maybe you're a new viewer, hopefully you understand why I say they have the best booking in the women's division. The Ultimate X women's match, MK
Absolutely.
Ultra doing an open challenge, then having the women's championship match, a pay-per-view with 3 women's matches. They were all given significant time. And so you bring in Dana Brooke. How can I be mad at this? Now, in regards to people calling her Tony Storm, I refuse to just say that she's another Tony Storm because one, we haven't seen her promos. We haven't seen her presentation. I mean, literally, they both have blondish white hair or whatever, and they're both wearing a dress. They're both elegant characters, but I think Tony Storm's a very different character from
It's
the
tough
way they
to
present it.
if tough it number one, it's tough to judge on the first night. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, she didn't even say anything. So give it time. You know what I mean? This is
Yeah.
one of those things where it's like, okay, let's be patient here. Let's not jump the gun.
Yeah.
In a sense, let's let this play out. And that's a lot of people, again, in the IWC, they expect instant results.
Yeah.
And when they don't get it, they get upset. Like, I do see some people being negative about this pay-per-view. And it's because maybe they didn't get the result that they were expecting. They were expecting something big. Let's be real here. Sasha is going to go do what Sasha does.
It's AEW, bro.
She's going to go do what she does. She's going to go do what she plans to do. Fine. Let it be. Nick Nemeth was the big signing, and I love it. And I'm standing by that.
So that was another thing too, right? And it kind of goes back to where I was praising TNA. It's like you do this segment with Dana Brooke. I have no problem with the signing. I thought the reveal was very well done. If that was the big signing, I would understand the backlash.
Yeah.
All they're doing is beefing up their women's division. They just lost Deonna Purrazzo. They're losing Trinity.
Yep.
You're just adding other talent. And here's the thing, guys. This is the reality. And Billy, I'm curious to know what your reaction is when I say this.
Okay.
Dana Brooke didn't really have an identity in WWE.
No.
And she got a video package and she got the ringside treatment. Very WWE NXT debut-esque, where somebody's in the crowd, which I thought that was cool because this is not something that TNA does, right?
Yeah.
But I feel like in the matter of just a few minutes, they've given her an identity more than WWE ever has. And now it's up to them to tell good stories and see what, like, first of all, Dana Brooke has improved a lot in the ring, but you wouldn't know this because WWE doesn't put her out there like that.
Right.
So to me, I think this is one of those things where it's like, I don't think it hurts at all. Like, I think to be upset about it, I think people are just looking for reasons to be upset.
Yeah.
But I think, truth be told, I thought it was very well done. And I had to praise TNA there because it's not something that they typically do. And it would have been really bad. I would admit this, and I would personally tell people in TNA, I would talk publicly about this. I would say you fucked up.
Yeah.
But they did it the right way. They made her look good. They have her ringside. Commentary explained who she was for those who may not watch WWE or may not know. They made her feel like she's an important part to this Knockouts division. And on top of that, you had Trinity drop the belt tonight to Jordynne Grace. Trinity's gone. And this was a great women's match. So here's the thing. You have Giselle Shaw win the Ultimate X match, and you have Dana Brooke. I'm starting to get the impression that this women's division going into 2024 will already be better than what it was in 2023.
Absolutely.
And it's already been so good. So it's like, I don't know how the women's division gets bad from this, or I don't know how they get worse from doing this, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it does get worse. I don't think there's a chance that it gets worse because watching those 6 women earlier, right?
Yeah.
When I tell you that, truth be told, that was one of the most exciting matches for me.
Really?
Yes. I was genuinely like, oh, this is really good. The women, again, I didn't know many of them coming into the match. And I said that on our prediction show. I said that, there wasn't many, but obviously at the time, I didn't know this, but I was going to be predicting the winner in Giselle Shaw. Going into this, again, the expectations weren't so high. And then being rewarded with such a good match in Tasha Steelz, you were right. outstanding.
Yeah.
Outstanding. Zaya Brookside, big fan.
Yeah.
Lot what is it? Danny Luna?
Yeah.
Yeah. Big fan.
Yeah.
Amazing. Great stuff, man. I mean, how excited I was, not realizing that I was going to be this excited to find this, right? It feels
Yeah.
like I found TNA for the first time.
So let me ask you, because for a lot of these people, you don't know them, right? And
Yeah.
you see the women's match and your prediction was right. And I love how you made your prediction. You're like, I really don't know Giselle
Yeah.
Shaw,
Uh-huh. Yeah.
But
Uh-huh.
what I felt like what was really cool about this Ultimate X match, one, I felt like it was good. But let's talk about the women of TNA tonight.
Yeah.
Let's actually do a little bit of an in-depth talk here.
Okay.
Danny Luna and Zaya Brookside. Danny Luna's been chilling in Impact for a little bit, but she hasn't really been doing too much, right?
Right.
Zaya Brookside made her debut. It was then revealed she did sign with the company, which
Yep.
is,
Yep.
I think
Huge.
tonight she showed everybody why she should be on TV.
Yep.
But you don't know some of these people, and you see these women putting on a match. When you see this Ultimate X match, and then you see the women's championship match, and then you see the women's tag title match, you see these matches going on. What's your first initial reaction not knowing any of these talent? Like, what's the perception for you? What's your reaction when you see how the women are treated in this company versus AEW or WWE?
You can see that the presentation, number one, is big. They were the first match of the night.
They open the show.
They opened the show. 6 women opened the show. They opened what was going to set off a new era in TNA wrestling. So if that's not presentation enough to tell you, hey, we're taking this serious, right? These women, they're important to us. They are wrestlers. This is what they do. They're very good at it, and we need you to watch. So that right there kind of obviously I'm not going to sit here and bash AEW or bash WWE and say that they don't do it, because WWE obviously has definitely done really well with their
Yeah.
divisions, especially as of recent. You know, Triple H has always been known to do really good with
Yeah.
the women's division. Even AEW is starting to pick it up in their women's division.
Yeah.
But after watching those women go out there and wrestle, wow, right? That's the only feeling that I had was wow. You know the chant, what's the chant? Don't stop, or I can't think of the chant right off the top of my head. Fight forever, something like that, right?
Yeah.
It's almost one of those, right? I
Yeah.
didn't want it to end. It was that good of a match to me. I was really that surprised by these women going in and doing what they were doing. I want to know what your initial thoughts were, and I wanted to really get your take on this, and if you feel the exact same way.
No, 100%. Fun match. But I thought what was really cool too, Jody Threat did a F7, which was a F5, but on 2 of the females. I think it
Yeah.
was Zaya Brookside and somebody else. But that was really dope. I thought that was really cool. And then Danny Luna and Zaya Brookside got a lot of great spots in there.
Mm-hmm.
And for me, and I thought this was interesting. Somebody kind of pointed it out to me earlier. They were like, hey, Danny Luna kind of reminds me of Jamie Hayter in the beginning stage.
Yeah.
In the sense of this is a person who has not reached their peak, but they are like there's a good chance she's going to get there,
Yeah.
And I was very fascinated by that statement for 2 reasons. I see it. Danny Luna went out there and had some very big moments. And what was cool is like I know Giselle Shaw and I know Tasha Steeles are going to go in here and do great things. I know Zaya Brookside and Danny Luna and everybody. I know I've watched them.
Yeah.
But I was fascinated that they were kind of able to shift my mindset to take them a little bit more serious moving forward in this company. And so for me, it was a very easy thing to just kind of watch and digest and be like, damn, man, like women's wrestling is getting booked a little bit better across WWE and AEW.
Mm-hmm.
NXT's always been consistent and TNA's
Yeah.
always been consistent. But this tonight was kind of like hey, not only are we consistent, but we're going to let them go out there and do some crazier shit.
It was really showcased tonight.
Yes, I feel like there was definitely a spotlight on it. And that's why
Yeah.
I think I appreciated the Dana Brooke thing. That's why I think I even appreciated the women's championship match and even the open challenge tag title match.
Yeah.
And kind of want to throw this out there because we did get the super chat. So let's talk about it. It's appropriate. Richard Martinez said Sasha and Bailey were in the crowd for Trinity. And so look, we know Bailey and Sasha are not going to be in TNA. We know this. Bailey's in WWE. Sasha could be going to WWE, probably going to AEW, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But when I see that these two are in the crowd, right? Yes, I know they're there to support Trinity Fatu. But at the same time, too, they get to watch this show from top to bottom.
Yep.
And they get the opportunity to look at some talent that they've never been able to work with before. And they get to look at a women's division that they may not be familiar with. And so the thing is, when you see all of these other things, the great moments in the matches, you get the Dana Brooke thing, you get the women's championship match, and everything is actually hitting. Then you have Mercedes and Bailey watching. I hope this is a lesson for people to take this company a little bit more serious. It's one thing for us to say, hey, their women's division is great.
Mm-hmm.
And it's another thing for AEW and WWE to tell us that themselves. But I like the fact that TNA showed it to us.
Yeah.
And Mercedes and Bailey were in the crowd as fans, and they got to see it as well. So I think that's cool, man. And I think, this is one of those things for a lot of people. Please understand this. If you're watching my stream, if you're a wrestler in WWE or AEW and you don't like it there, this is not a company that should be slept on. They really should not be slept on.
No, not by any stretch. This company after tonight feels beyond important, right? They feel. I'm hoping from a fan insight, I hope they're being taken serious by not just only us, the people who are sitting here reviewing it, but even the fans, right? I seen the crowd out there. That crowd felt really good.
They did. Billy, I got to ask you now.
Yeah.
I know we're jumping around, but let me ask you, because you're not a TNA guy. So this is why I enjoy this conversation. We get this match. The second match of the night ends up being Fandango, Dirty Dango, and PCO. PCO gets the special entrance, really dope.
Yep.
There's a lot to talk about, guys. So this might be a deep dive, but just for this specific part, we see Dango and PCO. Now, again, earlier in the stream, I said TNA sometimes has fuckery. Me and my boys literally call it the TNA fuckery. Yeah. Like, it could be a great show, but there's always something where it's like, why?
Something happens, right? It makes no sense.
And it was so funny because you used the word earlier that I loved, and you said they showcased it with the women's match.
Yes.
And something else that they did tonight, which I felt was really awesome, was Dirty Dango and PCO was the match I said in the prediction show, like, this should be on the countdown show.
Right.
But it actually turns out, yes, the fans love Tommy Dreamer, and the fans, there's two people that they love. They love Tommy Dreamer and they love Rhino, right? So it turns out Johnny Bravo gets the DQ.
Yep.
Santino Marella comes out, massive pop. They go crazy for it.
Listen. Okay, hold on. Before we go, again, I'm not a watcher of TNA. So I'm not keeping up with TNA, right? Not on a weekly consistent basis. I know some of the things that are going on and I'm able to keep up with it. Let me be honest with you. When Santino Marella walked out there, that was the biggest pop of the night for me.
I don't know if I'd call it the biggest.
Oh, for me,
night.
No. I'm being
for you
100% transparent with me personally.
Yeah,
I stood up off my bed real fast and I was like, "Yo, that's Santino Marella." And then I thought about it for a second. And I was like, "Wait, I know he's here and I know he's already been here.
Yeah,
Let me chill out. It's just fun seeing Santino Marella. I don't care what nobody says. It's fun. It's exciting."
So that's the thing, though. For those who missed it, Rhino comes out to help even the odds. Santino comes out and says, we're making this a 3-on-3 match. And, I say this with WWE. I say this with AEW. I like the bullshit comedy sometimes. Yeah. And Santino comes out and I'm like, oh, my God, he's going to be in this match. This is fucking terrible. Like, honestly, I was getting ready to be like, here's the TNA fuckery. I was just waiting for it. I was just waiting. And they did something amazing. When Rhino was already out there, it got a great reaction, surprisingly. But I got to remind myself, TNA fans love Tommy Dreamer and they love Rhino. But what was really dope was Jake something.
Yeah, and that one got me a little bit too.
And so Jake something comes out, and he's the third member. And this fucking stage, this new stage, is so dope. Jake something runs out the tunnel, goes over the top rope, and does like the double clothesline shit, and
Yeah.
just the place erupts. And this
Dude.
match that I originally said should be on the pre-show was fucking awesome. And it's harmless. It doesn't hurt anybody. It's fun. It's not taking away anything or killing anything.
Yeah.
But what I really liked, and it's going back to the thing that you said about showcasing, to me, Jake something is always one of those guys where I feel like he was doing some AEW dark stuff and Tony Khan didn't sign him.
Yeah.
What's wrong with you? That's what I was thinking. Like, how do
Yeah.
you Jake
Well,
something? I seen him on the 1000th episode of TNA. I was there.
okay.
I see Jake something at these tapings. I watch, I go to these shows and stuff, and I see Jake something. I'm like, this fucking guy's the man. This
Yeah.
guy is going to be a future star for the company. Tonight, in a role where a ton of fan favorites are in the ring, he goes out there and does some crazy shit, gets to showcase himself. It almost felt like a WWE approach as to, hey, this might not make sense from a booking perspective, quote unquote, but we're going to make this make sense, and we're going to let people really. How I look at it is like, oh, Jake something's not on the card. Like, why?
Yeah.
But this is, hey, we're going to put him on the card. It may not make a lot of sense, but the good thing is,
We need him here. We want to showcase him.
and it's going to work, and they made it work. So I thought that was cool, man. And it goes back to the thing that you keep saying about the showcase.
Yeah.
To me, this was one of those things where, like, again, TNA fuckery, I was scared that it was going to be terrible, and I was going to be like, why the fuck are they doing this?
A lot of it made sense, though.
But I have to remind myself that Scott D'Amore and this company, they're just really good at understanding. And that was obviously very evident by Dana Brooke not being the big reveal, and Dolph Ziggler was, right? It's like they understand what the crowd wants. TNA knows that the crowd loves Rhino, and they love this type of stuff. So, for me, it was like, oh, cool. Like, that actually works.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Guys, a lot of things went down. I do want to read a super chat, and then Billy, we got to talk about something because I
Okay.
need your reaction to this.
All right.
But we are going to shout out Myra. She dropped a 20 bomb. She says TNA appreciation super chat. Myra, thank you for joining the 500 plus people watching live and dropping this $20 super chat. You are a very, very good person indeed, and always a real one. So I do appreciate that, and thank you for joining us.
I just want to pause real fast. Shout out Scripps up top. He became a member over on my channel. Man, thank you,
guys.
Scripps.
We're doing a simulcast. It's always fun when you're doing a simulcast. If you're not subscribed to Billy, youtube.com/BillyTKO.
My man.
A lot of stuff obviously on the card. Billy, just overall, this is a new era, new stage, new presentation, new camera angles.
Yes.
1,500 people in attendance, which is the largest attendance for TNA in 8 years.
Wow.
Which is crazy because it's not like 1,500 is a lot of people. But the two things that stood out to me was the stage looked fucking huge, even though it's not. The camera angles and the camera shots made the stage huge. The ring, the apron, all of that, the ads on the ring, the TNA logo with red and yellow in the middle of the ring, the stage, they brought back the tunnels. What's your reaction to seeing this from, like, you've dabbled in a couple other Impact episodes in the past, but you see this. What's your initial reaction when you see something like this?
It feels important, and I cannot stress this enough, the importance of it. It feels important. When you make something automatically look a certain way. And to me, looking at the ring, looking at the yellow ropes, looking at the big screen, to me, that feels important. You are telling me that, hey, you should be watching this show, right? And I'm not saying it's on the WWE level. It's not on the AEW level. I'm not saying that. That's not what I'm comparing this to. What I'm comparing this to is my enjoyment. Did I enjoy it?
Yeah.
And I think for all the wrestling fans out there, that's what you should be comparing this to. Don't base it off of two companies that are obviously huge and backed by so many different variables. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
This company has been around for so long and deserves this kind of recognition that they're getting right now. I really want to stress that this company deserves the recognition, because you best believe that you said it a couple minutes ago. I've dabbled in it, right? I've dabbled in the idea of TNA. I love TNA. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? Obviously, I seen when Kurt Angle was there. I
Yeah.
seen Abyss. I seen AJ Styles. I seen all of those things. So to see them get this light here now, 2024. I see
Yeah.
the stage. I see the ropes. I see the crowd. I
Yeah.
see the crowd. That crowd was so hype, and it had me hype.
Yeah. Let me ask you,
Yeah.
you see the tunnel. What's your reaction to the tunnel, bro? Because obviously it was a TNA thing, and then AEW
Yep.
they took it because Tony Khan just he loves TNA. Apparently, he fucking ripped everything from them. But you see the tunnel, and it's obviously a little bit different. But
Yep.
the stage design, the tunnel, you see that on your screen. Did this feel? I know we could agree that it looked better produced, but did
Mhm.
this seem to you something that like there is like room for improvement with the stage design and the tunnels? Like, do you think you would do something differently with it, or do you think that was like perfect for what it was? How do you kind of look at that?
Well, I'm gonna go with it was for me perfect for what it was.
Yeah,
Right. I don't think there's anything that they need to fix here. I think they're gonna be okay. Right.
yeah,
Let them put on a good show. That stage and that set is good. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
Let them focus on the show. I think we've talked about TNA having to fix things forever.
yeah.
You know what I mean? I don't need them to fix anything tonight. I like tonight. Tonight made me a fan again.
It did.
So, no, I'm fine with it. I love the tunnel. It felt very nostalgic. Seeing
I
it from TNA.
Yeah, well, that was the thing. I like the fact that TNA, in terms of production, in terms of presentation and stuff, I'm glad that you could see the old inspiration.
Yes.
But I'm glad you could also see a little bit of inspiration from the Impact era, because I do feel like the last 5 years of TV have been really good, consistent television.
Yeah, and
But
it would be almost like a smack in the face to completely rid that.
yeah, 100%. But now I got to ask you something.
Yeah.
They had 1,500 in attendance. This is
Mhm.
clearly not AEW, WWE numbers.
No.
AEW could
Mm.
put 3 to 5,000 in an arena.
Yeah.
But the thing is, and I'm not doing this to take a dig at AEW, but it's something I really want to hear a different perspective on, because I'm always under the belief that maybe AEW should stop booking big arenas with so many seats that are open, right? You're
Yeah.
using tarp, you're doing all of this stuff. I look at TNA tonight and I'm like, man, 1,500 people, but they did this crowd shot. And I noticed it very specifically when Vikingo wrestled. And we'll talk about that because that's some very big headline stuff.
Yeah.
There is a collaboration, my friends, that we got to discuss. But
Yes.
we see this crowd shot of Vikingo walking to the ring, and it's, dude, it looks like there's thousands of people. You hear the crowd all night. They're
Yeah.
loud.
Mhm.
But you see that crowd shot. Did this look like 1,500 people to you?
No, it looked like more.
So what is your thoughts when you see TNA do this? And I look at the venue specifically, and obviously every venue is different. So I hope and pray
And
that
and I
TNA,
and it's inside the Palms Arena or
yeah,
Palms Casino, excuse me. It's
yeah,
inside of it. So it's like it's a small like
theater,
theater almost.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I see this though, right? And I'm thinking like, okay, the crowd looks great. They're loud. It feels like it feels like this company has like a really good response from the fans. Why don't other companies follow suit? I appreciate the fact that TNA is not trying to be something that they're not, in the sense
Yeah.
of, hey, let's go book Little Caesars Arena,
Mhm.
20,000 seats, and put 3,000 in there and tarp
Yeah,
off the rest.
right.
Don't do you agree? Do you agree that like they got it right? It looks right. It looks like it was a lot bigger than it was. Don't like that to me was my initial reaction with the presentation standpoint was, wow, this looks bigger than I expected,
What
even though we know it's not.
what's that perception is reality?
Yes.
Perception is absolutely reality in this situation. The perception was there was 1,500 people there. The perception was there was a lot of people there. Perception or reality, excuse me, was there was 1,500 people there, but it didn't look like 1,500 people. It looked as if there were, I mean, that place looked like a packed house.
I
You know what
want to
I mean?
see I want to see if I could throw this image on the screen.
Okay.
Um Lou D'Angeli just posted this. So right here, I don't know if you can see it, but this
Yeah.
is just a wide angle shot. For those who don't know what we're talking about, and keep in mind, there's people all the way up top as well.
Yep.
But I think this is a bold prediction. I think after watching tonight, TNA did enough for me to believe that a year from now, they will be doing bigger arenas.
Yeah, they'll go do a 3,000 to 5,000 seat.
I think they get to that point.
Yeah.
I genuinely believe tonight, and just looking at the feedback from like real people, not the
Yeah.
bots, not
Right.
the people that go to bed all sad and depressed because wrestling has overtaken everything from them.
Yeah.
Because those people, they just leave stupid comments and shit.
Right.
But I think a big response tonight was that a lot of people were like, "Hey, this was enough for us to take you serious again." There was no wonky bullshit, which I think was great. A lot of people got great matches. We expect that,
Yeah. Yeah.
But I felt like the perception is reality thing. You hit it right on its target. You hit it right in the head, bro. It's perception is reality. And I honestly believe a year from now, it'll be very interesting to see where they're at. I thought they did a really good job of doing that. But what was also fascinating, Billy,
Yeah.
worlds collide.
They did.
You never know who will show up. And we all thought, we're like, oh, maybe it's Triple H, maybe it's WWE,
Yeah.
maybe it's this, maybe we don't know what they're expected. And TNA is a company that has relationships with AAA and New Japan,
Yeah.
but they never had anything that was official with AAA. And so today they brought out the president of AAA.
Yep.
And Scott D'Amore announced the official partnership with AAA, which will bring more luchadors to TNA.
Yep.
Following that, we get Vikingo, Chris Sabin, and Kushida in a triple threat championship match for the X Division belt. So I got to ask you, just before we get into the nitty gritty, what's your overall thought on this particular match?
Every bit was excited watching it. It was a lot of fun, man. I've always been a fan of Chris Sabin. I do want to stress that and make that clear. I enjoy Chris Sabin. I think Chris Sabin is a professional wrestler who is outstanding. Detroit. I love it, right? Kushida. Seeing Kushida get the shine that he deserves, right? Obviously, people maybe watched him with the Cruiserweight Championship back in NXT. Amazing professional wrestler.
Yeah.
Same thing with Vikingo. Vikingo is... You know what I like about TNA, Ango? And I think you hit it on the head. And you've been saying it for a really long time. I got a mix of really good professional wrestling and really good storytelling.
Yeah.
I felt like as a new fan, I jumped into the stories very quickly because commentary did a very good job at telling me what was going on, where they have been. Video packages were very, very good and very, very important, I think, through this. So seeing Chris Sabin win, I'm not going to lie, made me very excited. Again, that's just the original TNA fan in me, right? But seeing Vikingo as well. Vikingo, I'm not very familiar with, right?
Yeah.
I don't watch a lot of AAA. I want to make that clear. I'm a wrestling fan at the end of the day, but I'm watching WWE and AEW because they're North American products. That's what's in my face.
Yeah.
That's what but dealing with Ango, right? Hey, turn this on. Check this out.
Yeah.
Turn it on. Check it out. What do you know? What do you know? I'm seeing Chris Sabin, Kushida, and Vikingo in this amazing wrestling match. And dude, I mean, just off the wall shit. I'm not gonna lie to you. It was off the wall. They were doing a bunch of crazy shit. Vikingo's crazy. I know he had that match in AEW, right?
Yeah.
But like here, he landed that moonsault. And I was like, yo, what?
Yeah. So one thing I don't, and I know people are always going to try to bite my words and tell me that like they're going to try to flip my shit. And I swear to God, this is not a dig at AEW. This is just the reality sometimes with wrestling, how one person appears in different companies and could be perceived differently. Yeah. For example, Dean Ambrose at the end of his run in WWE, I thought he didn't look anything impressive. When he went to AEW, he's the fucking guy, right?
John Moxley.
Vikingo had his match with Kenny Omega in AEW, and I seen a little bit of his stuff in AAA. But in terms of North American wrestling TV products, like Mexico is technically North America. But in terms of America, USA,
right,
watching indies and stuff like that, when I saw Vikingo and Kenny Omega in AEW, I was like, I don't know if I'm pretty sure that was in AEW. Or maybe I watched the one in AAA. I actually know it was AEW.
Mhm.
He has his match in AEW, and I remember believing like this guy's fucking special. He's
Yeah.
gonna be all elite. He's
Yeah,
he's
he's
their
the
Rey Mysterio, you know?
Mhm.
Then after that, it was like, man, I just see Vikingo constantly in like trios matches on Rampage or
Yeah.
whatever. And
It was
like
just kinda random spots for him.
it kind of sucked because in a way it was like this guy's really good, but I know he's not signed there, so he's not going to win matches, and he doesn't really have the best record there. Tonight, even though he lost, it seemed like TNA was really trying to highlight Vikingo.
That
And
important loss.
and actually, to be honest with you, I was like, I personally speaking, this was actually the one booking decision of the show I didn't agree with. Let me actually be pretty clear about that. This was the one where I was like, Chris Sabin should drop the belt. And the reason why I don't think he's dropping the belt is because there's some new debuts expected tomorrow at the taping and the next tapings and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
they're gonna work a program for Chris Sabin to drop the belt, obviously. But it's the
You
new
so do you
era.
believe that him and Alex Shelley are gonna go off and do the tag team stuff now?
I do.
Yeah.
I do think they get to that. But that's why I kind of want to talk about this because I felt like the booking decision was wrong. But at the same time, too, they really made Vikingo feel special and look really good.
Yeah.
And when they announced this partnership with AAA and it's like an official thing, and they, I think they're going to bring the Super X Cup back. And I'm very curious if they bring the Super X Cup back to TNA. Guys, I'm going to be honest with you. This X division is something to pay attention to because I watched this triple threat match. And as much as I didn't care for Chris Sabin winning, this felt nostalgic. This
Yeah,
felt
that's
like 2003, 2004 X Division. And as somebody who grew up on that, and I was a big fan of that, especially as a young kid, that's what really got me into TNA. This match felt like that. And I
yeah.
think I was very impressed by watching Vikingo, but also Kushida and Vikingo looking like they could beat Chris Sabin. I was
Yeah.
like, fuck, they did a really good job there. So
Yeah.
I'm very curious to see what happens with this partnership obviously being finalized and like
It was cool
actually
bringing
official.
out the contract.
It was.
Yeah.
And it's really interesting too because Vikingo is in AEW. But now that TNA has a true official partnership with AAA, I'm curious if they say, "Hey,
We need him
by,
over here.
which by the way, I think what's really dope about this, and we'll talk about some of the other stuff that happened on the show too, obviously. But
Yeah.
what I found, like with this particular situation, I felt like it was very easy to rule Vikingo out of the match as a winner.
Yes. Yeah, well, in the beginning, right? You had predicted that.
Yes,
You had said you were like, "Oh, well, maybe because he's not actually signed to TNA, blah blah blah." But then you see the partnership, and then it kind of changes.
it kind of changes things. So
Yes.
now I'm not saying Vikingo will ever be X Division champion. I don't know. We'll see how things have to go with that partnership.
Right.
But I do have a little bit more confidence now that there could be talent coming from AAA to TNA,
Yep.
and that's kind of what they do.
Yep.
Um, but I advise you, Billy, and I advise everybody else, please go back on TNA Plus. Go watch the Super X Cup from
Oh,
when
I
they used to do it.
absolutely will.
It phenomenal time in pro wrestling, phenomenal wrestlers, and this is the part of nostalgia that I appreciate because we didn't have a six-sided ring today.
Nope.
We didn't have that, but we had great wrestling matches with great stories and stuff like that. And this was one of those moments where I was like, dog, I think they hit it. I think they hit it. And even with Chris Sabin winning, by the way, as much as I don't agree with him winning, I do trust that there is a bigger story here and more possibilities now because of the partnership.
Yes.
Uh
Absolutely.
Myra did drop a $10 super chat. She says, and I don't know if this is on my channel or your channel, Billy.
Oh,
It's a possibility it could be on your channel because it's not showing up here, but I'm pulling it up anyways.
okay.
It says, I'm very excited for the TNA AAA collaboration. This is a partnership I trust to highlight luchadors in a positive way. So Billy, let me ask you, because I don't think WWE has done a great job in this regard, but now Dragon Lee's in the company and you see Santos Escobar, they've made that change a little bit, but you see this, you're relatively new to TNA. What is your thoughts when you see a partnership like this get announced? What is your belief? What's your reaction? What's your belief? Like, how do you think this like unfolds for you as a viewer, as somebody who likes wrestling and stories
Yeah.
and all this stuff? How do you kind of see it?
I believe all of these wrestlers deserve to be highlighted, but seeing this partnership with AAA, Obviously, you know that these guys definitely do, because here I am saying I didn't know much about Triple A. You know what I mean? I don't know much, but now I'm a fan of TNA, which now they're telling me, hey, we're going to be bringing some of these luchadors into the company, which is make me, right? Because I'm going to tune in on Thursday. I am. I'm going to watch on Thursday TNA. So if you're telling me that these luchadors are now going to be involved on TNA, it's going to force me to see them. It's going to force me to watch them and see what they're about. So I think, yes, it's going to highlight them in the most positive way. I believe that more eyes will be on AAA, and wrestling's in such a healthy place because of this, right? Seeing two companies like this, who not many people, unless you're the real hardcore wrestling fan, are familiar with this, and now because of the kind of viral, I want to say viral world that we're living in with TNA right now, it's going to put more eyes onto AAA, and it's going to put more eyes onto wrestlers, which then in turn will give these people more jobs elsewhere. And it's a win-win all the way around. Yes, positive.
Dope. That was your super chat. So
Was it, Myra? Thank you. Thank you. That's amazing, man. That's amazing. I want to say that's my first super chat too.
it is. I think it is.
Yes, Myra, that was my first super chat. So thank you so much. That is absolutely amazing.
Shout out to Myra. Definitely a real one. Guys, if you want to get your questions or comments read, consider dropping a super chat. Listen, TNA partnership, new signings, Dolph Ziggler, Dana Brooke. Today, TNA put a free agent on the show. Not
Yes.
signed. They haven't
Not
confirmed that he signed.
Nope, nope.
Formerly of MLW,
He's a dog.
Alexander Hammerstone comes out and wrestles Josh Alexander. And arguably, this was one of my favorite matches of the night. Good reason for it, and I'll explain why. But Billy, what did you think?
I had no clue who Alexander Hammerstone was. I had heard of him, didn't know much about him. You and I talked about him. I kind of went back after we had talked about him, watched him a little bit.
Yeah.
Holy shit. Holy shit. Yeah, I hope they sign him. You want to talk about putting somebody on your back and running with your company, right?
Yeah.
I know we're talking about Nick Nemeth right now. That could be your guy. Him, dude, that could be your guy. Him and Josh Alexander, what they did today, right? That's what I like to watch. I enjoyed that. Pure wrestling. Pure wrestling. I will say, commentary telling me about the hardest part of the ring. I've heard it a lot. I heard it a lot tonight. I will say
Yeah.
that. It's the hardest part of the ring. I know. So that was funny. That was just something that I took on, but amazing stuff.
Perception is reality.
Yes, sir.
Did Hammerstone come across to you as a top guy potentially in TNA?
Yes. Yes. Instantly. Instantly made me realize, number one, I got to go watch some of this guy's stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because I think that's the thing is TNA made a lot of new fans tonight. I know I'm not the only one speaking about this or like this right now.
Yeah.
I don't think I am. I think there's a lot of people right now who are in the same position that I am who are like, oh, yeah, I didn't know who this was, but man, oh, man, this is exciting.
Yeah.
So, I mean, yeah, big stuff. Big stuff that I love to see. So thank you, TNA.
Yeah, I've always known who Alexander Hammerstone is. For those who don't know, I did an interview with him years ago.
Mm-hmm.
So that was really cool, kind of seeing him in the beginning stages and then kind of seeing what he's become today. I thought it was really dope when I was watching him tonight wrestle Josh Alexander.
Yeah.
I was like, I don't know how they book this or how they do it. And we don't even know if he's going to sign, but I really want to just praise Josh Alexander because a lot of you may not watch TNA. A lot of you guys might not know who Josh Alexander is. I have a feeling a year from now, we're going to be calling him Mr. TNA. Like he is the guy for TNA because he's kind of become that in the last year, but he got injured. He came back and it was like, okay, he had his match with Ospreay and then he wrestles Ospreay tomorrow. Hopefully he gets that win back. But in the process of And the thing that I was me and my cousins were talking about this with Josh Alexander matches. He's a very gifted performer and very athletic, but he kind of wrestles like an old school Japanese style in the sense of like it's like these like the longer matches that go on, the selling is better, the ring psychology
Yeah.
is better. And
Mhm.
I really appreciate that, but I also appreciate at the same time of it being a good match in its own way, it's telling a story in the match. And
Yeah.
you actually saw some really good stuff here with Hammerstone, where he the ankle lock hurt him. He was going to go for the nightmare pendulum again.
Yep.
He dropped down, and then obviously Josh Alexander gets the finish. Like they really had a lot of great moments on the actual match itself, which I thought was dope. Like to me, that was really cool because you see this type of stuff and you're like, ah, okay, it's an open challenge. I get it.
Right.
But what's the purpose? What's the why?
Which was really cool that, because I didn't know that it was an open challenge.
Yeah.
I thought like there was actually something behind this, not realizing it was just an open challenge. So thank you to TNA once again for clarifying to somebody who is not paying that much attention or watching that fluently to be like, hey, yeah, we just want to let you know that this is an open challenge. Yes, it's an exciting match. Yes, it's something to look forward to. And let's tell this story in this ring. So good stuff. I love that. I love
Uh,
that.
just want to drop some breaking news.
Okay.
Mustafa Ali is officially coming to New Japan Pro Wrestling and has challenged Takahashi for April 12th. And yeah, that's happening. So Mustafa Ali is headed to New Japan Pro Wrestling. It looks like Mustafa Ali is taking the Matt Cardona approach, showing up in GCW, going all these different
Everywhere.
places. What I do love though is I really would love to see Mustafa Ali in TNA at some point, even if it's not long term. So the cool thing though is if he's not exclusive anywhere, he can obviously show up. And with what we saw tonight with TNA, I just feel like what he's showcasing with his vignettes and Mustafa Ali 2024,
Yeah.
that type of thing. There is a lot of potential there uh in terms of that. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Love it.
I think Billy got another super chat.
Oh, again?
Let's double check. Let me just make sure. It doesn't tell me, that's the problem. So I'm just trying to figure it out. Because obviously I want you to address your super chats.
Yes.
Yes, my boy Robin Plays Games dropped a $20 bomb for Billy. So Billy, I'll have you read this and
All right.
go ahead and answer.
My man Robin. My man Robin. He said, "What's up, Billy and Ango, you marks? TNA was a fun show. Loved the main event. Hope they put the belt on Nick Nemeth. Also, did y'all know the apron is the hardest part of the ring, by the way?" Yeah, TNA made it very clear that it was the hardest part of the ring. Ango, did you know that it was the hardest part of the ring? And do you want to see the belt on Nick Nemeth?
100%. That belt looks like it's made for him.
It does. It does. It looks beautiful. It looks
And
outstanding.
I've seen TNA set up their ring, so I can confirm that I know where the hardest part of the ring is.
They say it hurts right on the right by right outside the ropes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, dog, the shit was fire, man. And
Yeah.
here's the thing, right? Like, imagine Nick Nemeth wins the belt,
Yeah.
but then he's got stuff with New Japan as well, and he brings the belt there, and like that's always a cool possibility. And that's what excites me, man. This is the type of stuff
Absolutely.
where it's like, and I'm just being completely honest. At a time where I feel like AEW is very inconsistent for me and TNA is consistent, it's hard for me to talk about TNA and do reviews of TNA knowing that I enjoy it, but knowing that a lot of people may not be watching it as often or may not know everything that I'm talking about. And I feel like today was kind of like a start for a change for TNA, where it's like the IWC is really starting to respect them and start to see the things that I've
Absolutely.
seen. But
Absolutely.
like now I could even get more excited because, hey, Nick Nemeth is there. Oh, what if he wins the belt? What if him and David Finlay take place on a pay-per-view, champion versus champion? There's just a lot of possibilities, and that to me is exciting. I think it's going to be fun doing more of these TNA reviews, honestly, because I think they're just really starting to they've been delivering good TV, but they're really starting to do something special in terms of getting people bought in. The number one thing
Absolutely.
I told you, what did I say for weeks now, but I even said in the prediction show, I said TNA has one chance. This is it.
That was the one chance. They hit it on the head. They
They
really
hit
did.
it.
Yeah.
They hit it. For a company that doesn't have the same amount of money as WWE or AEW,
They
they hit
did
it on the head.
exactly what they were supposed to
And
do.
and here's the cool thing, right? Let's just call it what it is. For those who want to just kind of maybe shoot on TNA a little bit. If ROH can exist and ROH can exist under Tony Khan, and I get it, it might have the Tony Khan money behind it. What does ROH offer as a product from a compelling TV
Nothing for
that
me.
they don't, but
No.
TNA does? So the thing is, we know that people want more wrestling.
Yeah.
Because there are people that watch ROH. There's nothing wrong with TNA being bigger than ROH. There would be nothing wrong with TNA working with other companies. There would be nothing wrong for TNA in the sense of like being able to do these shows and like, how do I want to put this? Like there's nothing wrong with TNA being able to do these shows while ROH, AEW, and all these other companies exist.
Yeah,
And but it doesn't have to hurt the other companies. Like this is not a company where I look at them and like, oh, let's go beat up AEW now.
yeah, they're not. That's okay. Yes, they're not looking to go out here and tear up these other companies. I don't think that was the plan for tonight.
Yeah.
I genuinely don't. I think the plan was, hey, we just want to let you guys know we exist too.
Yeah.
We're here. We're important.
Yeah.
That's what I got out of tonight.
It's going to be really crazy to see how it all goes down.
Absolutely.
I really think a year from now, things will be very interesting to see.
Yeah.
And we've talked about a lot of the good matches. We didn't get a chance to talk about the kickoff show.
No.
But I wanted to talk about this, Billy, because this was your first impression. This was, hey, this is the stage, this is the design, commentary teams on the top, balcony, which I thought was dope. We get Steve Maclin and Rich Swann to kick us off into the new era.
Yep.
Now, I have my own thoughts on this, but I would love to hear your thoughts first.
Yes, I will give you my thoughts. First off, I want to say thank you to Robin, and I want to say thank you to you, Ango. I want to say thank you for allowing me onto your show and highlighting me the way that you do.
No problem, brother.
I just really wanted to make that clear. Robin, thank you so much. Myra, thank you so much. Ango, thank you. Thank you to everybody in the comments section who's hanging out with us tonight. You guys are absolutely outstanding, and I just really wanted to rub that off on you real fast. Give Ango the rub because he deserves it. This guy is outstanding. We appreciate you, man. All of us do.
Not a problem.
But first impression was it's nice to see Rich Swann. That guy is fun, right?
Yeah.
Steve Maclin, right? We had talked about it on the prediction show. Yeah, let's make that guy a world champion soon.
Yeah, they did it.
Yeah.
They did it before.
Yeah, let's do it in this highlighted era, though. Let's do it now. Let's do it where people are going to see it and people are excited.
No, I agree. I mean, Steve Maclin, Rich Swann killed it. Great opening match. And I think one of the cool things about that too is when they have this kind of match. I know Rich Swann's a hell of a talent. I know Steve Maclin's a hell of a talent. It's just the right way to open the show. At first I told you, I was like, man, like why are they on the kickoff versus the Dango PCO match? But now like seeing it, how it transpired, which I understand why. You're trying to get people to buy it. You're showing people, hey, this is going to be a quality match. And it obviously was.
Yeah.
Steve Maclin, Jake something, Nick Nemeth, Moose. I mean, we could keep going, but there's a lot of talent. There's a lot of talent where there is a lot of talent where I think we're going to see some really good moments, from the world championship scene. I really do. I think there's going to be a lot of potential there. And yeah, man, I don't even know what else to say about that. Like, I just think it's dope that like, there's some quality talent, and the kickoff show highlighted that, it showcased that,
Yeah. I agree.
Didn't want to cut things off, but Billy got 2 more super chats. Robin Plays Games dropped the $5 one. He says, let's put Billy over. And we're going to follow that one up with Myra, who dropped another 20 bomb for Billy. And says, wait, I just realized AAA Lucha Bros. Was it TNA that actually had Penta as the main champion? Are Lucha Bros showing up at TNA? I'm always curious about their contract situation, getting TNA Plus.
You told me about Penta's dark character.
Yeah. There was the guys.
Yeah.
Guys, Penta in TNA was a world champion. Penta in TNA was a beast. Penta in AEW, I can't even begin to tell you how upset I get sometimes with the lack of consistency in booking there. But
Yeah,
that's the unfortunate part.
right, it is, and that's just sadly in I wanna say in AEW right now, that's just kinda what's happening and where they kinda stand. It
Yeah.
yeah,
Myra, that I don't expect it.
yeah.
I believe they're contracted to AEW, specifically
Right,
AEW.
exactly, so I don't see them kinda flip-flopping back and forth. I know him and Fenix are doing their thing over there, hopefully they can get back into the tag team division. I haven't seen much of them on TV recently.
Yeah, talk about that tag team match.
Yeah,
Before
there
we
we
get to the
go.
tag team match, before we get to that tag team match, Tommy Dreamer, ladies and gentlemen, he dropped the digital media championship to Crazy Steve. Round of
Yes.
applause. Big shout out to Tommy Dreamer. He knew what he was doing
Yep,
by being champion and by dropping the belt, and that's a
yes,
respectable veteran move
yep,
because Crazy Steve, we saw he was late recently, like repackaged, and they gave him the new entrance and stuff. But today, with the new production elements, I thought it was A1. The entrance was fire. The video, all that stuff was great.
yeah,
The mask, we've seen it before, but I think everything just seemed like a bigger deal. He did this great spot with the forks and Tommy Dreamer. He got the win. New digital media champion.
love it.
So I wanted to point that out really quick because a lot of people were complaining about Tommy Dreamer being champion, and this is TNA being smart.
They highlighted the hell out of Crazy Steve.
He's been in TNA for 10 years, and I think he's only
Yeah,
held the belt once or twice in his
yeah,
life.
they
So
made him feel real important today.
felt good. Felt really good. That was like a repackaging thing where I was like, okay, it's working out.
Yeah,
It's working out. But yes, we do got to talk about that tag team championship match.
mhm. Yes,
Ladies
yeah.
and gentlemen, grizzled young vets made their debut.
Mhm.
Another set of free agents that doesn't look like they've signed with the company,
I
but
was about to say, I haven't seen anything on Twitter or nothing like that.
they might be working with the company for a little bit. We'll see how that goes
Yeah.
down.
I
But
wonder if they're gonna show up during the tapings and stuff. I can imagine they will.
probably is my guess. But
Yeah.
every tag team looks like a tag team except for Laredo Kid and Speedball. Trent Seven couldn't make the show due to the weather conditions. Personally speaking, I really, really enjoyed this match. But I wanna ask you something, Billy, because you're not as familiar.
Yep.
What team looked like the future of the tag team division in TNA?
If I'm being honest, obviously ABC retained, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm gonna be 100% transparent here, and I'm gonna tell you that Trey Miguel and Zach Wentz looked absolutely outstanding in this match.
Fire.
Amazing, which I actually in our prediction show that we did, I
Yeah.
said that's who I had winning the match, but that was actually to see them get highlighted, that was almost much more important for me because again, we kind of go back to the discussion of the viral stuff. Right now, TNA is having this really big viral moment to where people are locking eyes. So, what do they want to do? They want to highlight talent. So seeing a team like ABC and Zach Wentz and Trey Miguel get that highlight and have that moment in the ring where it's just the two of them because they wanted the match to originally just be the two of them. Absolutely outstanding. I love TNA for doing something like that and telling me that, hey, we want to let you know that these are two very young, important teams. And yes, we do have the grizzled young vets from the WWE and they're outstanding. And we're going to let you know that.
Yeah.
In Speedball, Mike Bailey and stuff like that. Those guys, Laredo Kid, they're obviously amazing, but we really wanted to highlight our own two tag teams. This felt like a show of highlighting their talent.
Yeah. What I like too is in the process, even though these people aren't signed to their company, they didn't make them look bad, right?
Yeah.
There's a lot of tag team matches I want to see across companies. Unfortunately, AEW wasn't really too kind to TNA and their partnership, and WWE. We don't know what the hell's happening with them in terms of working with TNA, but this tag team match was fun, man. It was great, and obviously they had to make a change because of Trent Seven's weather delays.
Yes.
ABC and the Rascals, they're it, bro. They're so good, man. They're really good. Speedball and Laredo Kid getting some great spots. So I really enjoyed this match, but I think this is a good chance for TNA to show people that tag team wrestling is going to be a priority because not that tag team wrestling isn't a priority in TNA, but it's not like they've that was always one area of improvement that I felt could have been better, right? Like that
Yeah.
was one thing where it was like, I would like to see a little bit more of a focus there, and more tag teams being established and the division getting beefed up a little bit. But we'll see kind of how they move forward with that. Um, I think it's dope. ABC comes out with the new titles. The new tag titles look great. The red straps look great. You know, this company, they really got the perception is reality thing down,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Perception is everything because it is a smaller company, but the
Mhm.
titles feel like a big deal. These matches felt good. A lot of great matches came from tonight. And it was a heavily contested night. AEW Collision and Battle of the Belts,
Yep.
NJPW Battle of the Valley. So in a situation like that, when I see TNA throwing on matches like this, it's like, yeah, I would have been okay with the title change, you know. But at the same time, they've done something here that felt good to the show. Not an overly long match. Everybody
Nope.
got their spots. Everybody got to look good. But
Mhm.
at the same time, too, it established ABC as their tag team. And
I
Ace Austin and Chris Bay, shout out to them because those
man,
fucking guys are the best, man. They are great. They got the aura, they got the presentation. The crowd loves them. And it really just goes to show you that sometimes being able to go to Japan and come back and like it shows that you can really find yourself in the process. And these guys were great as singles talent, but I think and they have major potential as future
yeah.
single stars too.
Yeah.
But just as a tag team, they gel together.
I was about to say they fit very well. They
Their
do.
chemistry is insane.
So them retaining the titles obviously makes a lot of sense at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Another really big important thing, and going, you tell me if this is something normal that happens in TNA,
Yeah.
right? The pacing of the show.
Mhm.
It felt like a premium live event. The pacing of the matches and stuff like that, and how, I want to say, did anything really go over like 20, 25 minutes, something like that? I don't think so.
Off the top of my head, no.
Yeah.
But pacing was actually outstanding. And
Yeah.
their pay-per-views at times sometimes would feel a little too long at
Mm,
times.
okay.
Um, they had what, 9 or 10 matches? I felt like
It was 11.
was there 11 with the pre-show?
Pre-show, yeah, uh-huh.
I felt like the show was paced well. So I personally didn't see an issue, and I don't know, man. I think for as many matches as they were, I felt like everything fit. It goes back to what I was saying about the Dirty Dango and PCO thing, where it's like, man, I don't really see how that like should have been on the main card or even on the pay-per-view in general, you know?
Yeah,
But they found a way to put that on the show, get the crowd interested, and it kind of seemed like everything was there for a reason and it worked out in their favor. So
absolutely.
it's one thing to have 11, 12, 15 matches on a pay-per-view, but it drags on for 5 hours. That's not the case with the pay-per-view tonight, which I appreciate because I don't want to sit there for 5, 6 hours watching a pay-per-view. If it's
Yeah,
WrestleMania, sure. If
sure,
it's all
right.
in, sure. But if it's just, to me, this is not a WrestleMania. This is
Mhm,
a pay-per-view new era.
right.
And I felt like that was a good thing.
Yeah, I mean, overall, I definitely thought the pacing was good. So as a new watcher, it definitely did. It felt in that the pacing was nice. It was easy to watch. It didn't feel like there were any kind of dead spots, if that
Yeah.
makes sense.
Yeah, yeah, I agree with that. And a show that featured 3 women's matches, there was like plenty of women. Pretty much like all the women were there.
Mhm.
Alicia Edwards was in the Ultimate X match, and like,
Yep.
they're making a big deal out of Moose's faction, which I like factions, and this faction's
Yeah.
been on TNA for a while, but like they never really been branded or anything. So
Yeah, the system.
that's yeah, so I felt like everything was well paced, but everything was like really well focused.
Yeah.
Um, like I said, I really didn't disagree with anything. The only thing I didn't like was Chris Sabin winning, but even that, it's not something I hate. It's just I
Right.
would have given it to Kushida or
Or
Vikingo.
right.
But that's not a big deal. It wasn't a bad match. It's not illogical. Like I didn't see a flaw with it. It's just personal preference because I would like to see, Motor City Machine Guns in this tag
In
team
tag team
division as
division.
well.
Right.
But obviously, when you watch Nick Nemeth get involved, I think there's something there. I did want to point out too during the live stream, TNA did officially announce Zachary Wentz versus Nick Nemeth at the tapings tomorrow.
Awesome.
So that I'm sure will start to move some more tickets,
Yep.
which is obviously fantastic. But I
Yeah.
think I've gone to several TNA shows and Impact Wrestling shows.
Yeah, now I really
Um,
wanna go to one.
so I'm going to be there for TNA Sacrifice in March. I already got that confirmed, so I'll be
Okay.
there.
Where's that
Um,
located?
it's in Windsor, so
Windsor.
it's in
Hmm,
Canada. Yeah.
okay.
So I'll be headed there in March. Um, but like that's the type of stuff, man, where it's like, hey, we have a third company. I think people are going to start taking more serious.
Yeah.
Uh, could there be more improvements? With like the announcement with AAA, did it have to be on the show? No.
But you
Is
see
it?
why they do it.
Yeah, and for me, it's like, okay, like that's dope. Like I don't have an issue with it. Did it
Mhm.
have to be there? No, but it was fine. It didn't. There was nothing that was on the show where I was like, why is this happening right now?
Right.
Everything kind of made sense as to why it was there and why they did it. And if anything, the crowd, I mean, props to them. The crowd was really fantastic tonight. And for a crowd that was only 1,500 plus, it seemed like there was a lot more people. You
Yeah.
see the big crowd shots, and that obviously helps very significantly. And to me, that's what it's about. I don't care about how many tickets you sell, but if I'm watching a show, I want to see that people are interacting with it. I want to see people are, I don't want to see a dead crowd. I've watched AEW and WWE where I've seen dead crowds. I've seen it with TNA.
Yep.
I want to see people have fun because I think energy is contagious. That positive energy
It
is
really is.
contagious.
It really is.
Um, and that's the cool thing. There was nothing that like the crowd responded poorly to either. So
Yeah,
I
no.
appreciate that being a fan of wrestling because with WWE and AEW and TNA, I think one big flack that I have with the IWC across the board is like they pay too much attention to and perfect example, Top Dollar.
Yeah.
He was on the pre-show.
Mhm.
And I seen people before this, they're like, oh, why is Top Dollar there? Blah, 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 blah. And I see this and I'm just like, um, I see Top Dollar's there, and I'm like, okay, his promo with DJ Who Kid.
Yeah.
Fantastic, fantastic segment,
Great
right?
stuff.
But you need a babyface moment. You bring in Top Dollar, babyface moment. Joe Hendry comes out. That's Joe Hendry's shtick, and the whole thing
Yeah.
is like, hey, Joe Hendry's not on the card. That's kind of shocking. TNA fans love Joe Hendry.
Yep.
He goes out there and it gets the big pop, and Top Dollar then looks like a beast and hits him with this massive choke slam, and it's like beforehand, I think wrestling fans were trying to find reasons to be upset with something on the show when they looked at the announcements or the card or whatever. And
Yeah.
then I feel like everybody's reaction all of a sudden changed when they're like, oh, yeah, I actually do like this, and
Oh, yeah, the Cheez It Champion,
yeah,
amazing stuff.
it just works out really, really well.
That's
Um,
amazing stuff.
So, Billy got 2 more super chats. Guys, if you want to drop any more super chats, do them now. If you're dropping them on my channel or Billy's channel, we'll read them out. But the stream will be concluding shortly, so make sure you get those in. Billy, Robin plays games, loves you now. He dropped a $5 super chat. He says, I just drank some water. I thought I'd let you guys know.
Well,
And
we appreciate that.
and then he says, oh, I am also in mango.
Well, look at that. I love a
He
healthy
just sent
person.
you $7 to let you know he was drinking water and eating a mango.
Mango. Yeah. Thank you so much, Robin. Absolutely outstanding. If anything, Robin, you have made me laugh tonight by those two right there. Drinking water and eating a mango, my man, outstanding. Ango, again, appreciate to you, right? Because Robin is drinking water now and letting me know. Robin, bro,
Cheers,
appreciate
Robin.
it. I think my water is gone, but
Hold on.
cheers, man.
They don't pay me for this. Cheers. I had to take
Right,
off.
right. Yeah, hold on. Boom.
They don't pay me for that.
No.
I want to see if I can do something really quick because I've been wanting to do this on a live stream.
Okay.
But I don't know. Fudge, it's not working. Hold on. YouTube told me I could start gifting memberships, and I'm trying to figure out how to do it, and I don't know how to do it.
Oh yeah, we had talked about that the other day, didn't we?
Yeah, I still can't
Yeah.
figure it out.
That's so weird.
I can super chat myself.
Can you?
Yeah. Oh, it's so unfortunate. I hate when I have to boot people from this stream.
Yeah. Yeah.
Unfortunately, when you guys spam, you're gonna get kicked out because nobody fucking likes spammers.
Sorry, you fucking weirdos. I'll be the guy. I'll say it.
Nah, bro, just don't spam my chats. That shit's annoying.
Yeah, dude, it's weird. Like, come on.
Oh God, Myra just dropped you a super chat.
Oh,
Super chat wars of 2000. Wait, hold on. What is it?
the super chat wars.
Oh shit. Good times. Good times.
So what is this?
This for you. She super chatted you.
Oh my goodness, Myra.
Oh yeah. So basically, what would happen during 2022, maybe even 2011, I can't remember. It was so funny because they basically Myra, Albert, Robin, every single person out there would just drop super chats with the most pointless things ever because they'd be like, hello, super chat. Like they would just no context.
So what's happening is I'm now possibly a part of this in a new version.
I can't speak for them, my brother. I
Yeah,
can't speak for them.
I don't know. I don't know.
Basically, I had Tattoo Nick and Myra just go back and forth with who could super chat the most. It was the most insane thing ever. It was the most insane thing. I think I legitimately cried on stream. It was insane.
Listen, so I started this stream, Tango, tonight with 0 super chats on my channel.
Yeah, that's the most super chats you've ever gotten.
Yeah, I really would like to make that known that this is absolutely outstanding, and I'm just so beyond thankful. You guys are fucking awesome. Oh, thank you, brother. Thank you from the bottom of my heart, man. We could be real here for a moment. Thank you so much, man.
No problem, my bro.
Myra, thank you. Thank you. And thank you, Robin. You guys are absolutely outstanding as well. I really want to make that known and stress that as much as I can. Oh man.
Hold on. Is my shit fucking up?
What's going on?
I thought my stream was fucking up.
Oh.
Give me a second.
You're good. You're good. You're good. So everybody liked the show tonight. I think we can all, for everybody who is in the chat, I do believe that a lot of people did like the show, which is good. Seeing Nick Nemeth was awesome, and seeing him anywhere should be appreciated. Amazing stuff.
Yeah, Billy, hold this down. I'm checking my stream.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Hey, what is going on, guys? I'm gonna hang out here for a moment. No, this has been awesome, guys. You guys are absolutely outstanding. But I want to know, maybe you guys can drop down in the chat and let me know what you guys thought about tonight's show, because again, it looks like for the most part that there's been some cool stuff going on, wouldn't we say? Tonight's show was awesome. Tonight's show was awesome. Outstanding.
Yeah. Oh, I know how we could end the stream.
Yeah, go ahead.
First of all, shout out to Daniel Len for dropping a $2 super chat. Appreciate that, brother. Thank you. I want to read this from Farin. Okay. He says Nick Nemeth will be the next Cody Rhodes and Zack Ryder, and by that I mean just like Cody and Zack Ryder, Nick Nemeth will reinvent himself and he'll become a huge star in the Indies and TNA and New Japan. So that is true. I do agree with that.
Yeah, I do. I agree.
Robin said, I think this is on your channel as well.
Okay.
But Robin says, I like the show and the stage construction. And that was a $2 super chat.
Yeah, absolutely. I think we both agreed. Absolutely.
I definitely agree with that too.
Yep.
What do you grade the show?
I give it a I'm gonna go strong here, Ango. I'm gonna go strong. I really am. I'm gonna go 9 out of 10.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I'm going 9 out of 10 here. I think this was a solid show. You know, maybe some small things could have been fixed, but man, oh man.
It's a good start.
It is.
Good start. Daniel Len dropped another $2 super chat on my channel. He says, get show first. TNA pay-per-view better than AEW. Yeah, I thought I'm just glad to see 3 companies thriving.
That's it. That's it at the end of the day. Just seeing them all do what they're supposed to be doing and putting on television shows and trying their best to make them as good as possible.
Yeah. Adam Myron dropped a $5 super chat on my channel. He says, say Ango, do you think WWE and AEW took notice on the return of TNA tonight? Billy, what's your response to that?
Yeah, I mean, Mercedes and Bailey were sitting in the crowd. So what are your guys' thoughts? Really? Yes, I think they are going to have to put some focus onto TNA. Look at them. I don't think you have to look at them as like the big competitor. I don't. But I definitely think you got to look at them and be like, hey, they're over there doing a good thing. So maybe we should tune up, right? Put some tune up on our shows and get all these people that are watching them back watching us as well.
I'll tell you guys what I said before. I said, uh, basically what you need to know is that if TNA can get some momentum and grow, AEW doesn't have to look at what's in front of them. They also have to pay attention to what's behind them.
him, right?
Is TNA at that point yet? No, not at all. Is TNA potentially going to get to that point? I think if they keep delivering great shows like they did tonight, that could very well be a possibility. In order for that to happen, though, AEW needs to really fall off. And AEW has fallen off a little bit, but they get back, right?
Yeah.
They go up and down, up and down,
Yeah,
up and
because
down.
there's really hot times for AEW. Like that first AEW of this year, that was a
Yeah.
hot AEW for him. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So, and the big thing too that you got to remember is like, TNA does do the working relationships. So
Mhm.
maybe this is a chance for AEW to say, hey, you know what? We want to get involved with your X division. And
I'd love to
who
see
knows?
Sammy Guevara in the X division. I know there was some
Nah, I'm
stuff back
good.
in the
I'm
day.
good. I'm good on that, actually.
Really?
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay.
Yeah, no. I heard he did do a crazy spot today.
Sammy
Uh
Guevara? Yeah, I seen him.
Battle of the
Yeah,
Belts.
yeah.
I didn't watch AEW today. Let me just make that clear. I
I
didn't watch
seen it.
that or Battle of the Valley. But Sammy Guevara had a crazy spot, and Jack Perry came back to New Japan, or he came to New Japan. He
I
ripped up
seen
his
that.
AEW contract,
I mean,
and
that's a big stretch.
I don't know. I don't know who he attacked. He attacked somebody in New Japan and did something like that, and yeah. So we'll see how that goes. Another super chat we got from Rick Corrales, listening from Disneyland. LOL.
Oh,
You're a real one, bro.
that's sick. That's sick.
Appreciate it, bro. And yeah, I think that's pretty much it. Honestly, I thought it was a very good show. Good to see some improvements on some company things that they did, and obviously, today was a start in the. It was a step in the right direction for this
Direction, right.
company, who I feel like they've been putting up some good TV.
Yep.
But also, most importantly, it's called growth, and you need growth. And you know, I was very scared when I seen when they teased the Dana Brooke thing. I was like, I have no problem with Dana Brooke coming to TNA. I
Yep.
really don't have an issue. In fact, I like the idea of more women coming into the Knockouts division because they're losing talent to AEW and WWE.
Mhm.
But when I seen her get out of the thing, I was like, she's wearing a jumpsuit dress type of thing. And I was like, that looks like something Dana Brooke wore in NXT.
Yep.
I
Mhm.
was like, I'm pretty sure it's Dana Brooke. Or you texted me and you were like,
Yeah.
oh, it might be Eva Marie or whatever. And I was
Yeah,
like,
uh-huh.
I could see that too. Um, Low key, I kind of got Jade Cargill WWE debut vibes too.
That's
So
exactly what I got from that.
so I wasn't thinking Jade Cargill, but I was like, maybe Mercedes. You never
Yeah,
know.
right, because she's always changing her hair.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
so that's what makes wrestling fun, and the cool thing is, like, I had nothing against Dana Brooke coming in, but I was starting to feel a little bit more pessimistic that, okay, if she's the big signing, that was a very carny,
Yeah.
clickbaity type of
Mhm.
move,
Right.
and yeah, Scott D'Amore historically has never been that kinda guy, so I kinda get scared that, like, are they gonna make this mistake because there's not that many free agents left? I don't know, so, yeah, it ended up being a really dope thing when Nick Nemeth came out, and
Yeah.
what a way to end the show, just a very significant moment, and I really appreciated it, and I just really appreciate tonight's show. I'm glad that the response is positive from a lot of people, because
Yes.
I genuinely believe that wrestling is better with more companies growing and making money and doing good things. And I think the big thing for TNA is not necessarily a new TV network, but you got to be accessible in more homes. And
Mhm.
hopefully we start to see that happen.
Right, for them.
You got another super chat from Robin. This is literally what it
Yeah,
becomes, brother.
yeah, okay.
Yo, Rick, do you have an extra Disneyland ticket? I want to say shout out to everybody who left me a super chat with a quality comment. I really appreciate it. Adding to the great conversation.
Oh, absolutely, but I hope Rick
This
does.
one went to Billy. So
I hope Rick
shout
has it.
shout out to Billy. First, he's been doing a couple streams with me. and he got super chats for the first time.
I
So welcome
did.
to the club.
I did, man. Thank you so much again.
And
And
really, that's a big shout out to all of you guys who super chat to my channel or Billy's channel. It's we appreciate the love, we appreciate the support. This was actually the most viewed stream of 2024
was
on the
it?
channel. So I was looking at the numbers earlier, and at one point I think we hit 600.
Wow.
So for 2024, I mean 2023, we had I had like a 2,000 or 3,000 viewed stream. I don't know. It's something really crazy. So,
Yeah.
WrestleMania week always gets crazy. David, first super chat on my channel, David Primero. Hopefully I
Oh,
pronounced that correctly. I expected Giselle Shaw to win both Ultimate X and KO title tonight. I think Jordan Grace is better chasing the title. What do you guys think? I love this super chat.
yeah. That's.
I love this super chat. Okay, hold on.
Go ahead.
Billy, I want you to answer this, but I'm gonna because I watch
Yeah.
TNA.
Yeah.
Jordan Grace is a phenomenal talent. There was a chance that Jordan Grace was going to go to WWE, and it looks like she ended up staying with TNA full time.
Right. Right.
First of all, loyalty should be rewarded.
It should be.
Secondly, Giselle Shaw is somebody who I believe for a while was destined to become a champion, but how do you get there?
Mhm.
And the cool thing about this right now is Giselle holds the Ultimate X. She can go and cash in and get her match against Jordan Grace. But what I think is going to be interesting here is the storytelling of now Dana Brooke is in the company. And by putting Dana Brooke in the company, I'm very curious to see how they go about this knockouts division. Because at the same time, I think Danny Luna, Tasha Steelz, Zaya Brookside, who is now signed to the company, I think there are plenty of names who can get involved with this championship belt, even with Trinity and Deanna gone from the company.
Yep. Absolutely. There's a lot of names that I think are going to be put over.
I do think Jordan Grace chasing the title is always an interesting storyline,
Mhm.
but I feel like this is the time for her to get a dominant run.
As
But
a
what I
champion.
mean as a champion, but what I think would be the best case scenario is she gets a dominant run with the belt. Then at some point, Dana Brooke could win the title. Seriously, give it to Dana Brooke, but create that moment where Giselle Shaw cashes in on her.
Right.
That's what I would do. The reason why I would do that is because once Giselle Shaw wins the women's championship belt, at
Mhm.
any point in time, if whether it's from Dana Brooke or from anybody else, the thing is you have that other crop of talent from the Ultimate X match who now have a reason to pick a fight with Giselle Shaw because she's the
Right.
one who beat them.
Right.
So keep them a little bit separated from for now, but eventually get to that point. And I think there could be some really fire storytelling there.
Absolutely. Absolutely. There's stories all over the board with that stuff. That's why that Ultimate X match kind of feels important, right? Is because the stories that you can create coming out of it.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah,
100%.
love that.
A lot of great things. David, first time super chatting on the channel. I appreciate it. Thank you so much for joining us, and thank you for the super chat. And I just want to shout out Cosmic Harmony. I just discovered you tonight, and we appreciate that.
Yeah, absolutely.
We definitely appreciate that. Guys, a fantastic night for pro wrestling.
100%.
Honestly, I was very, very excited with how things went down. And like I said, at this point, the pay-per-view was fire, bro. Pay-per-view was fire. And you know, a lot of things obviously to talk about in the next coming weeks. I would definitely recommend being subscribed because there are some more signings that are going to be revealed, and then obviously there's going to be a lot more to talk about. So you don't want to miss that. And shit, dude, fucking dope. I was excited.
Nope.
I can't tell you guys how excited. Cedric, I see what you're saying, buddy. I can't talk about that stuff. You know that. I feel like, you know, for a long time, it got to the point with pro wrestling where it's always, you know, WWE's been good lately this past year, but like, you know, every company hits their ups and downs. TNA has always kind of been constant,
Yeah.
you know, and tonight it felt bigger than what they normally do. And I appreciate that. It's one thing to write compelling TV. It's another to create some big moments. And I felt like tonight they did that. Trevor 9193, I see what you're doing there, but you're not going to get me tonight with that. But I actually do agree with you. I do love ...
Yeah.
So with that being said, my friends, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us. At one point, over 600 plus people were watching live.
Crazy.
The stream has already reached some massive numbers, and it was the first TNA pay-per-view of the year, the first TNA episode of the year, technically.
Fun fact, it was the best TNA show of
Oh
the year.
shit, yeah.
Yeah, yep.
It's crazy. We had to wait 13 days into the year to get there,
Right,
but
but we got there.
we got there.
Yeah, absolutely.
Anyways, ladies and gentlemen, youtube.com. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Robin, you're going to do this now?
Yeah. This is what you're talking about.
Rob, yeah, bro. Anytime I would try to end my streams, they would just flood super chats. It's like a troll move, I think. But now you're getting the thing. Anyways, I want to give a huge shout out to the Air real quick for allowing us to breathe. I acknowledge Air. Robin, thank you for super chatting Billy to tell him that.
Thank you, Robin. Thank you, Robin. I acknowledge Air too.
Shout out to the hottest music artist in the game, Auntie Gun. He is in the chat. Fire ass artist, best artist I know. Just pulled up in the chat. Shout out to him. If you guys like music, you guys should listen to it because he's fire.
Let's go.
Wow. What else? I don't know. Shit. It's gonna be a good ass night. I think I should go play FIFA and relax for a little bit because there's still snow on the ground. And yeah. Anyways, ladies and gentlemen, Billy, youtube.com/BillyTKO, youtube.com/Ango. Myra just dropped a $5 super chat on your channel.
Yeah.
I'll acknowledge Robin from the Island of Relevancy. All right. You know what? Let's just do this. Billy, you can just talk for a second. Let them super chat you. Nobody likes me anyways. It's all you, brother. They don't like me anyways, bro. The floor is yours. I'm
You're
just
gonna put it on me. You're gonna put it on me.
I'm gonna just sit here until they're done super chatting you because I don't know what to do at this point. But enjoy.
I feel very appreciated. Yeah, Robin, you're absolutely outstanding. Myra, you're absolutely outstanding. You guys was not expecting that at all tonight. So that's really what I kind of want to get out of that, and just, the real side of it. Thank you so much, guys. Thank you, Ango. Again, I don't know what else to say right now. It's like I'm kind of speechless. You got to think I've never experienced this before. Ango, I know that they love you. Cedric, my man Cedric is going. He wants to talk about that. Hey Chester, how's everybody doing? I hope everybody is doing very well. You guys are absolutely sick. I feel highlighted right now. Oh my God. Where's the cameras? Where's the paparazzi? I feel like I should have the paparazzi. This is awesome. Derek, I'm glad you're doing good. Cedric, or Robin, excuse me. I hope the air is treating you well. Myra, I'm glad you're acknowledging Robin. I feel like that's important from the Island of Relevancy.
All right, buddy. Your 5 minutes of fame's over.
Thank you, brother. I didn't know how to take it. I did not know how to do it.
Appreciate y'all stopping by. Appreciate y'all showing love. youtube.com/BillyTKO. YouTube.com/Ango. Shout out to all you guys. And what's today? Is today Sunday? Saturday? What's today? Saturday?
Yeah.
Sunday. Monday's Raw.
Yeah.
God, I'm having a brain fart. But now it's time to relax and enjoy the rest of my night. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope you do the same. And here's a sneak preview of my new intro, and then we will call it a stream. Yes.